Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Work Ready Gaining Success in a Tech Career. My name is Oleg Kagan, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for LA County Library. Work Ready has been going on since December of last year and will continue through at least January of 2022. And the purpose of the program is to help people who are affected by COVID get jobs, or those who already have jobs, to improve your current work situation. So that means get a promotion, get a raise, or just plan a more sustainable career path. And we're helping folks do that in three ways. Number one, we're lending out laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots out of 20 library locations. And you get that laptop and hotspot for a 6-week period. So if you need to do some training, if you need to do a job interview, if you need to, surf the web, or somebody in your house needs to surf the web, you're able to do that via those laptops. And the way you can have access to those laptops is by going to our library website, lacountylibrary.org. And in the middle of the screen, you scroll down, there says there's a link to Work Ready. You click Work Ready, then click Laptop Availability, and you can see where laptops are available. And you can go pick up those laptops right away. If you're going to the library immediately, then there should be one available for you. If you can't make it right away and need to come the next day or the day after, go ahead and give that library a call and ask them to put a laptop on will call for you, and they can do that. The second way the Work Ready program is helping folks with jobs is through events like this one. And we've had events all the way from December of last year on all sorts of work-related topics. And we've also just produced videos for our YouTube channel. So there's long events like this one, and then there's short, 5-minute videos. And you can see pretty much all, maybe not all, except for 2 work-ready events that we've had so far. On our YouTube channel. You can go to youtube.com/LA County Library. You can find those in the work and career playlist. We'll put a link to that in the chat in just a little bit. And the third way Work Ready is helping folks with jobs is by purchasing the latest and greatest work-related books, ebooks, audiobooks. Whether you want to pick up a physical book, you can do that by searching our catalog and ordering the book to go to any of our library locations. Go pick that book up, or you can use our ebooks or audiobooks without even leaving your chair. You just go to our website, go to that Work Ready page, and we have a Overdrive collection of work-related materials. All right, well, that is the Work Ready program. Now, before we get into gaining success in a tech career, I want to bring up a person who I met at a community event a few weeks ago, who is part of a very special and very interesting program. His name is Jamel Thomas, and he is here to tell you about Delete the Divide. Jamel, take it away.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. First off, I want to thank you, Oleg, for this invitation to speak today. It's always, I always appreciate the opportunity to talk about the county's Delete the Divide program and what it has to offer the people of LA County. By the way, my name is Jamel Thomas, as Oleg stated. I'm a program administrator for the Delete the Divide initiative here in LA County. So, and just in case you were wondering, what is the divide that Delete the Divide is deleting? It's the digital divide. And the definition I like to use for the digital divide is the gap between those who do and those who do not benefit from the digital age. So if you don't know, right now we're living in the digital age. It's very information and tech heavy. And by information and tech, we're talking about data, we're talking about apps, we're talking about robotics. And it's how people and how industry is using this tech. And according to the World Economic Forum, by the year 2025, industry will use tech to disrupt over 85 million jobs. And when they say disrupt, they mean a lot of those jobs are going to disappear. Now, on the flip side of that, they say also by the year 2025 that technology is going to create about 97 million new jobs. So that's a 12 million job increase. But these new jobs, they're going to be very tech heavy. You're going to have to be trained in order to do these jobs. You won't be able to just walk out of the street and do these jobs. So uh, at Delete the Divide, we offer a lot of different services. Uh, when it comes to the digital divide, there's issues with connectivity, there's issues with devices. But in my talk today, what I want to focus on is the benefit of being gainfully employed during this digital age. That's what I want to focus on today. So Delete the Divide has many different partners, several different partners, but two of our partners have provided some about 1,000 licenses, and those partners are Google and Facebook. Right? So 1,000 licenses, and these licenses are to courses. And once you complete these courses, they allow you to have a certificate, and these certificates qualify you to start tech careers that pay anywhere between $50,000 and over $80,000 a year. So right now, people are fighting for a $15 minimum wage. Well, if you gain a certificate in one of these tech careers, you can earn anywhere between $24 and $39 an hour just starting out. And our partners, Google and Facebook, not only them, but they also have worked with hundreds of other big name corporations that acknowledge these certificates. Right? So, a key thing to keep in mind with these certificates and the curriculum and learning and earning these certificates is that it takes about 6 months to complete. And when I say 6 months, that's at a very leisurely rate. And these certificates and these courses and this curriculum, they're meant for zero to hero, meaning they'll take you from zero knowledge about the career and they'll teach you every step of the way until you become a hero. And then you can earn some of this, be a part of this great community and this great career path that can change the trajectory for you and your family. So some of the certificates that are available are the Facebook social media marketing, and the starting pay in that, which is not a very tech heavy field, it's more in marketing. It's about $70,000 a year. Google Data Analytics, that's another certificate training path that we have, and it starts out at about $67,000 a year. There's Google Project Management, so that's not tech heavy. It's dealing with tech. It's a tech adjacent, as I like to say sometimes, and that starts out at about $59,000 a year. And then there's the Google UX Design course that starts out at $58,000 a year. Google IT support, that starts out about $50,000 a year. And there's another area within the Google IT support certificate that allows you to focus more on Python, which is more programming. But it starts out around $50,000 a year. And then we have the Google Associate Android Developer Certification. And that starts out with $80,000 a year. So I like to stress the fact that these different certificate programs and these curriculum, they really start you out from zero to hero. They're designed for people who are being retrained and reskilled to make sure they can benefit from this digital age that we're living in. And they will teach you every step of the way. Unfortunately, right now in LA County, there are about 1.1 million families that are living on wages less than $50,000 a year. I've just named several different certificate programs, each of which provide a starting salary of between $50,000 and over $80,000 a year. This is a fantastic opportunity, like I said before, to change the trajectory of you and your family and to have you start a very rewarding career in technology, one that allow you to be gainfully employed during this digital age. So you can also benefit from this technology. Oleg, I believe you only gave me 5 minutes, so I definitely want to respect that. If you have any questions about Delete the Divide, if you have any questions about how to get started in the certificate programs that we offer, feel free to reach out to us on social media. Our handles on all social media platforms are at Delete the Divide. You can email us at info@deletethedivide.org. And feel free to come to our website. That's where you can get the information to start the courses and actually start the certificate programs. And our website is www.deletethedivide.org.
And I just posted that website in the chat a few minutes ago. So
okay, perfect. Thank you very much. All right. So
Jamel,
we do have some eligibility requirements. Those are posted on the website, but it's basically 12 to 24. You have to live in one of the hardest hit areas within LA County. And that's pretty much it. We look forward to helping you benefit from this digital age through the Delete Divide initiative and on deletethedivide.org. So, Oleg?
Thank you very much, Jamel. And I know that not everybody here is ages 12 through 24 live in that area. And I just want to let you know that if you know somebody who does, please do refer them to the program. And even if you're not the core audience for this program, you can also go to their website and look at their partners. And those certificate programs are available to the general public. They're not free, but they are, just like what Jamel said, they take you from zero to hero. And after you finish, for example, the Google certificate, you get access to the job board where a whole bunch of corporations and other companies are able to see that, and you can get a tech job.
Also, we also accept groups. So if you belong to a group that does some public oriented service in some of the targeted areas, we can get you in that way too. We definitely want to help any way we can.
Thank you very much, Jamel. I really appreciate your time for coming in and telling us about Delete the Divide, a very important and useful program. It's provided by LA County, and you and the folks that are working with you are doing a great job of selling the program and really helping people out. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Let us now move on to the main event of this morning. Our speaker today is Kanika Tolver. She is the CEO and the founder of Career Rehab LLC in Washington, D.C., where she helps clients transform their careers with coaching programs, events, webinars, and digital resources to help people reach their career goals. An in-demand coach, consultant, speaker, and thought leader, she has been featured on CNN, CNBC, CBS Radio, CBS Radio, Yahoo, Black Enterprise, Glassdoor.com, Entrepreneur.com, The Washington Post, and a variety of radio interviews and podcasts. Kanika is the author of the acclaimed title Career Rehab, Rebuild Your Personal Brand and Rethink the Way You Work. You can find out more about her at kanikatolver.com. And now I would like to bring to the stage Kanika Tolver, and I'm going to transfer the presentation over to you so you can bring up your slides. And I'm very excited about hearing this.
All right, good afternoon. Well, here in DC, I'm in Washington, DC, it's afternoon, but good morning, wherever you are. I just want to say thank you so much for bringing me on today to discuss how to get, how to have a successful tech career. So I'm super excited about this presentation. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and we're going to jump right into this topic. All right. All right, so today we're going to be talking about gaining success in a tech career. So I've been in the technology industry for over 15 years. Currently, right now, I am a senior project manager at the Department of Treasury here in Washington, D.C. But I have a wealth of knowledge of how to gain a successful, success in having a tech career. All right. So this is the overview. Today, we're going to talk about technology, careers, and skills. We're going to talk about the education you need within the technology industry. We're going to talk about how personal branding is very important within having a experience, and how do you set yourself up for success with experience, whether it's internships or volunteer experience or even landing your first job. We're going to talk about how to execute a successful job search in the tech jobs. And then we're going to talk about how to interview properly and how to land a tech job and how to seal the deal for landing your first job in tech. All right, so that is the overview for today's presentation. I will be taking questions at the end, so please, if there's anything I don't cover today, you guys can always ask me questions at the end of this presentation. All right, let's get into it. So this is me. I'm a professional career coach, author, and speaker. I've spent over 15 years in the federal government technology space. I've also worked for Fortune 500 tech companies like Deloitte. I've also, been able to be successful at getting a very high six-figure income at the age of 27. I'm in my late 30s now. I really promote work-life balance, and I really promote, people having a progressive career. I really enjoy this topic today. As a Black woman in tech, I really am inspired all people, here today, but I really am really excited about talking about how you can set yourself up for success. All right. So the first section we're going to talk about is technology careers and skills. So we're going to get into technology careers and skills. So these are the top technology paths. So if you are thinking about, sometimes we get a little overwhelmed about what path to go into tech, but these, from what statistics and studies show, that these are the top paths for getting into the tech field. So you have IT support, that's just helping people troubleshooting their computer with help desk. You have cybersecurity, which is very important right now in this time that we live in with all of the different data breaches and security issues that we have. We have project management, that's me. I oversee a lot of software development teams, and I've been a project manager since 2008. You have software development. If you're interested in coding, that's a great path. If you are fascinated about data management is super important right now. Managing data, collecting data, and distributing data is an amazing field to go in. And the last field, everybody's trying to get into this one, is cloud computing. Cloud computing is the now. So if you're interested in cloud computing, it is one of the top, most popular skill sets right now. All right, so let's talk about some of the highest paid jobs, the roles. So, in the last slide, we talked about data management. So big data, being a big data engineer is very lucrative. DevOps engineer, a lot of people are DevOps engineers within the cloud space. That's a very lucrative six-figure career. And we talked about cybersecurity on the last slide. So information systems security manager is an amazing role as well. If you want to be a software developer, if you want to be a project manager, you want to lead teams and see them to success, that's a great path. That's a great six-figure path. Being a database manager, managing database systems, creating databases is a great path. Data science is something that's really cool and fascinating right now, and a lot of people are getting into data science. It's a part of data, but it's kind of separate. So I think data science is going to continue to be very, very lucrative. Being a cloud architect, whether that's for AWS, Google Cloud, you can be a cloud architect for either platform. And managing networks. Network engineer is a very good path to go in if you want to manage networks, troubleshoot and configure and set up networks. And software developer, as we talked about as well, software development. All right, so these are the top tech skills that most people go after. So these are the top programming languages where we have C++, SQL. So C++ is an object-oriented programming language. And then you have SQL, which is for databases. And then Python is like super amazing right now. It's the most popular programming language and one of the easier languages to learn. Then you have Java, which is also an object-oriented programming language as well. And we have HTML if you want to develop websites, if you want to develop, public-facing websites, if you want to develop, using WordPress or Drupal or creating your own website, HTML would be an amazing language to learn, as well as JavaScript. And as we talked about network engineering and security, network security is extremely important in this time that we live in securing our networks and securing our data and securing everything that is in computer networks is an amazing skill to have. Big data, as we talked about earlier, there's some there. So I think artificial intelligence is, to me, one of the most fascinating ones. AI is really going to continue to soar. It's one of the most popular, newer technologies, and it's really doing amazing out there. So if you're interested in machine learning and AI and Internet of Things, I think artificial intelligence will be very important to learn as well. Cloud computing, as we talked about already, it's the most popular thing going on right now. I just want to give a word of advice is that it's not important to learn all of these. It's really important to figure out what your path is and learn one or two skill sets and focus, because this industry can be overbearing and I don't want you to feel like you have to learn everything on this slide. So these are the most popular technical skill sets that the industry is looking for right now. All right, so if you want to go the non-technical route, there are non-technical opportunities within tech as well. So you can go into business analysis. That's gathering requirements, that's gathering information, that's helping the developers understand what's going to be built and what's going to be created. So you can be able to develop, he or she can be able to develop that and test that. So business analysis is an amazing role. Technical writing, writing technical specifications and documentations for organizations is, standard operating procedures, user guides. So technical writing is really important if you love and enjoy writing. And project management, I don't code every day. I normally just manage teams. If you want to manage projects, schedules, budgets, it's an amazing opportunity for you to be able to work with end users and to work with the technical team to build different products within tech. And if you love research and you want to be a user researcher, you could actually help the UX and UI design team do research on how to develop for your citizens or any type of user that the app is going to be used for. So user research is super important in the UX and UI design industry. All right. So we're going to go into technology education. So we're going to talk about what do you need where can you find this information and what tools and resources are out there? You talked about the skills, but we need to talk about how to get educated and how to get properly equipped for the technology industry. So we're going to be talking about the technology education and where to find that education in a cost-effective way. All right, so these are some organizations that I highly recommend you connect with, because these organizations are always providing a lot of free resources and cost-effective resources. So Blacks in Technology, they're having a conference this week starting tomorrow. I will be speaking at the conference on day 2. So if you are a Black person that desires to be in technology, this is a great organization. So I highly recommend that you check out their website as well. Then you have Women Who Code. If you're a female and you desire to get in the technology industry and you want to be a programmer, you want to be a coder, or you just want to get in tech altogether, Women Who Code is an amazing place to start as well. They have a lot of free webinars and resources and conferences and hackathons. Then if you are part of the LGBTQ community, you can go and check out Lesbians Who Tech. They have a lot of amazing opportunities for the LGBTQ community. For those that wanted to get into the technology industry, they promote a lot of inclusive events and initiatives for that community. And then if you are in the Latinx community, I highly recommend for you to check out the last organization. I don't want to mess up the name. I think it's Techcura. So if you fall into any of these, I highly recommend that you check them out, because you can get with your tribe and you can soar and you can succeed and network with the right folks. All right, so education. So we're here to talk about technology education in this section, and these are some of the most popular platforms that I have used within my career and I recommend my career coaching clients and my audience to use. So first we have LinkedIn. LinkedIn Learning is a monthly subscription, so I highly check that out. I think from what I heard that LA County Library has a free subscription to LinkedIn Learning. Is that correct?
Yep. If you go through the library website, you can get LinkedIn Learning totally free, no strings attached, on the computer, on your phone, anywhere we can otherwise get it. So LA County Library has you on that.
Okay, so that's free. So that's amazing that you guys can use LinkedIn Learning. There's thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of courses on LinkedIn Learning. I'm a big fan of YouTube. There's a lot of great enthusiasts. There's a lot of great evangelists. There are a lot of great people that already went through what you're going through. They may have already transitioned into tech, and they have a YouTube channel with some of the solutions of how they transitioned or how they got promoted into tech. If you want to learn new technologies, YouTube is an amazing resource as well. Udemy, of course, there are a lot of amazing free classes on Udemy. Udemy, for the free courses, they just don't provide a certificate. So you can take the free classes on udemy.com, but you will not get a certificate at the end of the course. So I highly recommend checking out Udemy when they have a sale. Sometimes the sale is like $13.99 per course. You can buy some courses at a cost-effective rate. I have family members and friends and colleagues who have gotten courses for $13.99. They flip that into six-figure salaries by preparing for certification exams, for just learning new skill sets, and they're adding that to their resume when they get the certificate. Coursera is also an amazing platform as well. They actually kind of connect with the high profile universities. A lot of the Ivy League schools like Stanford, they connect with a lot of big name colleges, and they have instructors that provide programs that you can take and classes that you can take for some like Stanford and Illinois University. So I highly recommend that you check out them, because you can actually have these amazing instructors from these teaching something things that's in technology. Some of them are free and some of them are paid courses as well. All right. So if you want to go the traditional route, so I know, we right now in this dispensation in time where people are kind of not focusing on four-year degrees as much because you don't really necessarily need it. But for those that are interested in going to college, these are the most popular college degrees that you can focus on. So you have information technology and information systems. You have computer science, which, I went the computer science route with my bachelor's. You have information science. If you want to get a little specialized, you can do systems and network administration, software engineering, and cybersecurity. So these programs will help you get all the foundational understanding of all the different programming languages. They will help you, get more specialized if you want to go the specialized track. But the first three will be more so, you're going to get a taste of everything with computer science and information science, and with information systems. You're going to get a little bit of everything on your plate to get to test out different areas within the technology arena if you plan to get a college degree. All right. So if you plan on going the non-traditional route, and you want to also, and you want to get a tech certification, these are the highest paid tech certifications that are out for this year, 2021. According to VentureBeat, these are the top ones. So a lot of these certifications, I'm not going to go through and name all of them, but a lot of these certifications that are on this list, if you see, they're cloud, AWS, and Google. They are PMP, project management. They're CISSP. These are all very much related to the other technical skills and technology paths that we talked about earlier in this deck. So you have CompTIA security, that's cybersecurity. CISSP is the top dog cybersecurity certification. AWS Solution Architect is one of the top cloud computing certifications, and the PMP is the top project management certification in the industry. And of course, you have like Windows Server that kind of lands you in the network administration arena. But all of these, you can choose just one or two to focus on. And when you get that level of experience, this is your potential of where you could see yourself and your family making amazing money at a six-figure level. So I just want to put that out there for you guys for motivation. All right, so we talked about careers and skills. We talked about technology, education. Now we're going to be talking about technology, personal branding. Personal branding is super important in this particular time that we live in because you got to stand apart from everybody else. So we're going to talk about how do you get all this amazing skills, all this amazing education, and how do we lift it up to have a successful personal brand, all right? So this particular slide is talking about mindset. So an employee is someone that goes to work and only does what they're told. A lot of us have been in careers or been in jobs where we just never gone above and beyond, and we didn't see ourselves as a subject matter expert. But a branding mindset is a person or a company that goes above and beyond to provide a service or product. When you get this level of experience in tech and you specialize in a specific area, you provide a service, you provide expertise and knowledge. So you have a personal brand. The same way we look at athletes and actors and politicians, they are personal brands and they are experts at that. So I really want you guys to think of yourself as a personal brand as you transition into tech or as you grow your career within tech, because that's going to help you be able to have an unstoppable career. All right, so we're going to talk about the 3 brand identifiers, the 3 things that identify your personal brand. First is your education. That's your high school diploma, college degree, your professional tech certifications. Then you have experience. So that experience that you're going to be building for your resume will be coming from volunteer experience, internships, and work experience when you land your first tech job. So that is going to set you apart because you're going to have all this amazing hands-on experience to put on your resume. And the last E I like to call is expertise. This part is going to, when you narrow down and focus on what you specifically want to be known as, whether it's cloud, whether it's cyber, whether it's UX or UI, you're going to become an expert at that. And this is going to allow you to showcase all the tools and the technologies and the methodologies that you have learned in that particular area within tech. So these are the 3 things that you want to be known as when you're out there landing a job and looking for a job. You want to have education, experience, and expertise. So how do we build our brand? How do we focus in on building it? So now that we kind of know what we need to have, we need to have education, experience, and expertise. How do we build upon that foundation? So I always recommend working on challenging work-related projects, working on the projects that are going to help you shine. So that means joining up with people at work and working on those most complex projects. That's where you learn the most about technology. Enrolling in training, constantly enrolling in training, whether it's online, whether it's at the job, constantly getting more training and earning more professional certifications. I can't stress that enough, that certification is the key to success in this industry. I recommend reading 1 related book per month if you have time, or even learning about the technology. So a cybersecurity book, a cloud computing book, a project management book, a UX or UI book. I think it's just important to continue to learn from the authors and influencers and experts, and find your most popular tech blog. Read 1 or 2 blogs a day, and that's related to what you specialize in or want to learn. And then again, it's nothing wrong with getting on YouTube or Udemy and watching 1 or 2 short videos per week. It won't kill you. We scroll on the internet, we watch, other types of videos on YouTube that are non-tech related. We watch Instagram, but what if we would spend our time watching more industry related videos? Listening to podcasting. I'm a huge fan of podcasting. I'm always interviewing and doing podcast interviews, but this is where you're going to learn from other influencers, other experts, and other technology professionals. So subscribe. Google cloud computing podcasts, cloud podcast shows. That's going to help you continue to keep that information in your ear. Volunteer. I can't stress it enough. It's important to volunteer. And later in this deck, I'm going to share with you where you can find volunteer projects, because that's going to help set up your success for landing your first job or getting another job. Attending free conferences and virtual webinars just like this one today. You got to continue to sign up to go and get the information. This is an amazing platform right here, but there's many amazing virtual workshops and conferences that are taking place. So AWS, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Twitter, they're all having some level of virtual conferences during this pandemic. And then connecting with professional experts online. This is where you build your network, and we're going to talk about how to use LinkedIn later to do that. So these are 10 ways that you can actually build your personal brand. All right, so as we talk about technology careers and skills, we talked about technology education, we talked about technology personal branding. Now we're going to talk about how do you build your technology experience. All right, so there's so many organizations out there that you can get a job at. A lot of times we don't know that all of these types of organizations hire tech professionals, but I just wanted to put this slide together because I wanted you to know that you can get a tech job within the federal government. That's where I work. I work in DC, but the federal government is all over the United States. So you can go to usajobs.gov and find jobs there. You can look at your local and state government for tech opportunities. You can go to Fortune 500 companies like the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Twitters, and try to get an amazing opportunity there as well. Startup companies are super popular now. I highly recommend getting your foot in the door in a startup. Will be amazing because it's like boots on the ground. You're being creative, you're being collaborative. It's an opportunity that's going to really help you get your feet wet. And then nonprofit organizations are always looking for people that have technology skill sets. So I think it's important to think about when you're applying that all of these 5 types of organizations are hiring tech jobs. All right, so you can apply to all 5 of these types of organizations in your job search. All right, so building your professional experience. At the bottom of the slide, I like to have a formula for my clients and for my career coaching clients and for my audience. So I believe for those that are transitioning into tech, or even those that are in tech, that these are some of the best ways to build up your experience as a newbie or as someone that's doing a career change or someone that wants to get promoted. So I believe internships plus hands-on projects to show and volunteering will equal professional experience. Because I think the hardest issue people have is landing their first tech job. So a lot of times people get the certification, they get the education, they get all of the experience, but they don't really know how to frame it on their resume. If you're a developer, to show them. Show your code repository. Have an online portfolio if you're a web developer, or if you're a UX, a UI person, or if you are someone that wants to do something in the framework of doing social media marketing or graphics or things like that. Showing them something is so important. So it's important as you're applying for internships or applying for volunteer opportunities, it's important to know that all of these things, as you land these opportunities, will be resume builders for your online presence. They're going to build your resume and your LinkedIn profile up for when you want to land that first role. And I think it's an amazing opportunity for you to get connected. So I'm going to explain later on how you get connected with those types of opportunities. All right. So internships, if you get all this major experience on your resume, you got all these certifications, you finished that boot camp, you finished that training program, and now you say, well, where does that leave me? Where does that leave me? I need an internship. So I recommend using Google Jobs or Indeed, Glassdoor, or even LinkedIn, and searching for internships. And I have here on the slide, there are different ways that you can frame your search. You can look for internships in the summer, in the fall, in the winter. I just think it's important to kind of add what type of internship you're looking for. If you're looking for a cloud internship, you need to put cloud computing. If you're looking for a web developer internship, you need to put the word web developer. Because it's important for when you're searching that you are searching for the internships that are specific to the area of tech that you want to go down, and that's going to help narrow down your search. So these are just some tips that if you're starting to look for internships, you can start to look for those now, and don't wait until the last minute, because these programs have deadlines and you want to have your application in. All right, so we talked about volunteer experience. So volunteer experience is the best way to get in a tech job, a paid tech job. So Catch a Fire is a website where you can actually find volunteer projects. So to Catch a Fire work, and the organizations will post a job posting saying that they're looking for volunteers that can develop them a website, or volunteers that could maybe do some cloud computing work or some project management work. And then you submit your resume to that job posting. Then from there, if you get the volunteer experience, most times it won't be paid. You can do that for short-term time frame, and you can add that to your resume. Then you have Taproot. So Taproot is, they specifically connect you with nonprofit organizations. So nonprofit organizations are always looking for technology volunteers because a lot of times their budgets are limited. So I definitely recommend you checking out taprootplus.org and creating a profile on that website too, because nonprofit organizations, they're always looking for people that can help them with a short-term project. And then Idealist is also another website where hiring managers are looking for volunteers. You create your online profile, the hiring managers or the organization will reach out to you based upon your profile. And then I think there's opportunities for you to apply to as well. So if you are new to tech, you don't have any experience, you don't know how you're going to land your first tech job, I recommend trying 3 of these, one of the 3 or all 3, to get some volunteer experience for your resume. All right, so we talked about how to pretty much get the technology experience, how to get technology education, how to do technology personal branding, how to get the technology education. And then we talked about the first section was technology careers and skills. Now that you got this volunteer experience and this internship experience on your resume, it's time to look for a paid job. It's time to get paid. It's time to execute a job search strategy. And even if you don't get volunteer experience, even if you decide to just jump out there and want to find your first entry level or mid-level tech role. So we're going to be talking about how to find jobs. So this particular slide is talking about creating a cover letter and a resume. But specifically, I want to call out a few things about technology resumes on this particular slide. So of course, you need a professional summary. As you see on this resume, a lot of the technology skills need to be at the top of the resume. It's important to have it at the top under the professional summary because people need to clearly see what you're an expert at. So listing your programming languages, the cybersecurity platforms you know, the UX and UI design tools that you know. Calling those areas of expertise out at the top, it really helps because a lot of people don't read the entire resume all the way down. So I think that gets their eyes. They're like, oh, you have that experience that's in the job announcement. Oh, you have that. You understand that technology or that programming language. So make sure that you have it at the top. And then make sure that you go in and you write descriptions of the things that you learned on your projects, the things that you did. When you write your professional experience, you want to be clear and concise and unambiguous about what did you actually do on that project? What did you develop? What technology did you use? And what was the end goal of the project? And how did you deliver it? So it's important to have several different bullets that you implemented, you created, you developed, you built, so people can clearly see, and it tells the story of the technologies that you use and what was the end product that you was using those technologies for. And then if you are taking classes online, whether it's Udemy, whether it's a boot camp, whether it's you're taking some certificate programs, list it all in the education. I don't care if you class and it was a beginner's class, list the name of the class, list the month and year that you got it in, and that is considered education. List that boot camp that you finished, list that certification that test that you passed, list it all. And computer skills, like I said, you want to definitely list all of those out, and you want to kind of place it a little bit at the top. Any awards that you've won, even if it's in your past career life, it's important to let people know that you are a rock star. So high performing awards, cash awards, employee of the month award, anytime you were promoted, it's important to list your awards on your resume because people want to see that. Cover letters are optional to some companies, but I think it's still, it's okay to have, but definitely it's important to have a solid resume. All right, now that you got that solid resume, it's time to create a LinkedIn profile. If you're not on LinkedIn, you're missing out. If you're not on LinkedIn, you're missing out on networking, learning from other tech professionals, and applying to jobs. So please go and take your resume that you have and create a profile. Create a profile. Fill it all the way in. Fill it all the way in from the top to bottom. Make sure that you put all your certifications, all your skills, all your education, and you want to make sure that you have a professional photo on your profile. It is super important to have a LinkedIn profile in this time that we're living in. These are the most popular job board websites. So I recommend Indeed, taking your resume, putting it up on Indeed. If you're looking to get into the federal government, usajobs.gov, you need a federal government resume. Let me just say that you need a federal government resume. You can't take a private sector resume and apply to government jobs. There's a lot of resources on USA Jobs about how to write a federal government resume, or you can hire a resume writer. We already talked about important how LinkedIn is. I think it's very important to use LinkedIn to apply to jobs. They have a lot of job postings on their website. And if you get a security clearance, I have a security clearance. Clearance Jobs is another website where you can put your resume on and you can find jobs that are for people that hold security clearances. And that's where all of the recruiters will reach out that are looking for people that have security clearances. If you are in the job market, please make your profile public. Please make your profile public. It's important. Recruiters and hiring managers and companies cannot find you if your profile is set to private. Okay? All right, ask for company referrals. It's the best way to get a job is to ask your friends, your colleagues, industry leaders that you connect with on LinkedIn, people that you used to work with, instructors, recruiters that you meet. ask them to refer you into the system. Find the job for them and say, hey, I'm interested in working for this company, and could you refer me into the hiring system? It's the best way. A lot of times we apply blindly. We don't know anyone in these companies, but as you connect with people on LinkedIn, get to know them, and you can ask people that you went to school with, people that you maybe used to work with, family members and friends. Ask them to refer you into the system for a job and give them your amazing resume. Sometimes they get a bonus for it. So it's a win-win for everybody. All right, we're going to talk about this, the last section. We're going to talk about job interviews. So this section is really going to be talking about, now that you got this amazing resume, this cover letter, how are we going to land the job? How are we going to get through the interview and land a job offer? All right, so prepare for the job interview. I highly recommend when you're applying to tech roles is to clearly read the job opening qualifications. This tells you everything you need to know about the job and about the potential interview questions and the potential things that you should be putting on your resume. So please read the vacancy announcement. Make sure that your resume is updated. The things that they're asking for in the vacancy announcement in the job opening has to connect with your resume. Number 2, review the technologies. They're going to ask you about these technologies on the interview. They're going to ask you about AWS. They're going to ask you about cloud computing. They're going to ask you about cybersecurity tools. They're going to ask you about UX and UI tools. When it was a time that you used those tools. If you don't know them, take a quick Udemy course or do a project and try to have some level of understanding of the technology so you can articulate that. All right, research the company. You got to make a human connection with yourself and the company. Know what the company offers. Know what their products and services are. Know exactly everything, so you will be able to say that you have this experience and your experience aligns with the products and services that they offer. It's very important to research the company and not just read the about page, but read something that is super important on their news page. All right, because people want to know that you know what the company does and how you can add value. And the last thing is prepare your own questions. I always think it's important to prepare at least 3 questions. One question about the role, one question maybe about just the work life of the company, and then maybe some question that is like an it factor question. You may say, hey, I see that you guys recently went public, or I see that you guys recently launched this amazing product or service. Ask a question that catches them off guard. So ask about the role that you're going to be interviewing for, maybe about work-life balance and diversity and inclusion or training, and then ask them the last question about something that will blow their mind that normal other applicants wouldn't ask. All right, so you got to do your research. All right, now you got the job interview. What are you going to do? You may have it in these 3 formats. You may have a phone interview. A lot of times in the technology industry, the first initial call is a phone screening. So try to use a landline or be in a good area where you have cell phone service, because sometimes it's a bad impression, but people know that things happen. But it's important to know when you have that phone screening and it's scheduled and the recruiter reaches out to you, that you are available to talk in a quiet place and in a place where you know you have good cell phone service. Sometimes the next phase is a video interview. In this pandemic right now, video interviews are extremely popular. I've been doing video interviews for years, but prior to COVID, but make sure that you have good lighting and you're in a quiet room. Do a test of all your technology, your laptop and everything before you get ready to just jump online, because you don't want any technical difficulties. But we know things happen. We know that internet can go down. We know that all types of things can happen. So people are understandable. So it's important to just make sure that you are letting your family know you have a video interview. And the last thing is in person. I always say try to arrive, maybe 30 minutes earlier. They can feel you in person. In the same way on video, make good eye contact. And one last tip for the phone interview is when you're on the phone, smile. When you're talking, they're like, hey, Kanika, we have this cloud architect job. And I answer the phone, hey, how you doing, Sam? Yes, this is my experience. I am constantly smiling over the phone so they can feel my energy. So it's important to not answer the phone sounding low and low vibes. You want to be vibrant on the phone and you want to smile as you talk so people can really feel your personality, because they're all looking for tech skills, but they're looking for personality fit as well. All right, now that you went on the job interview, you want to seal the deal. You want to send a follow-up thank you email. So make sure you have all of the contacts of the people that interviewed you. If you feel like you don't have that information, reach out to the recruiter or whoever set up the interview and ask them for their names and their email addresses, and send a thank you email within 48 hours. I recommend within 24, but expressing your interest in the job. Whether you feel like you did a good job or a bad job, send a thank you email anyway. It's going to help you seal the deal, and it's going to help you to see for them to see that you are highly still interested. All right, get that job offer package. Now, what are you going to do? This interview went well. You sent that thank you email. Now you got an email saying that they're ready to hire you. They want to give you a job offer. These are the 3 tools to make sure you're not getting lowballed. So if you feel like you want to ask for more money, or you want to verify and check where you live, is this the right pay? I live in DC. Some of you guys live in LA. There is a salary difference between DC and LA because the cost of living in LA County probably is higher than Washington, DC, or maybe similar. So I will go to Glassdoor.com. I will put in cloud architect, or I will put in network engineer. I will put in my city and state. And then based upon my years of experience, Glassdoor will tell me the high, medium, and low salary for that role. So put in the role, your city and state, and the years of experience will come up, and it will tell you what you should be asking for based upon your number of years of experience, right? You can also research the company on Glassdoor as well. They will tell you, other employees will tell you about their experience on Glassdoor. Salary.com and PayScale are very similar. They will definitely let you know how to calculate your salary and if you are getting a fair salary based upon. Glassdoor is my favorite, but but these are the 3 websites I would use if I was making sure my job offer was legit. All right, so we're at the end. We made it to the end. I know this was a lot of information, but I'm going to take questions, and this is the end. I hope that this particular topic was very, very great for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I've done a lot of talking. I'm going to answer questions next. So if you guys are interested in career rehab, my book, you can, could you please add the link in the chat so all the participants can buy it on Amazon? It's a 4.7 rated book. If you think that you want to rehab your career for tech, this is the book to get, okay? It will help you build your personal brand. And these are some reviews from some of the customers, okay? So if you want to stay in touch with me, this is all of my information. I'm on all social media platforms at Kanika Tover. You can reach me at my website at kanikatover.com, and you can email me kanika@kanikatover.com. So I'm going to leave this on the screen for a few seconds, and then I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to come back on video so you guys can see me full screen, and I'm going to take questions from the participants.
We've got a lot of questions.
All right, so let me stop sharing. Good.
Let's get started with some of these questions. So the first question is, Varant asks, do you need tech skills? What kind of tech skills do you need for some of those non-tech positions that you mentioned?
For those non-tech positions, okay. I'm sorry, I was trying to figure out how to stop sharing.
No worries, there you go.
All right, you guys can see me? All right, so for some of the non-tech skills, I would say for the business, these are some of the roles that are non-tech, just because I didn't have a specific slide for that. So business analyst is a role, project manager, QA tester, like a quality assurance tester who tests the software that's built by the developers, and technical writer is another role. So some of the things that I would recommend people getting to know is how to write software requirements, how to write requirements for tech organizations. So a lot of times customers come in and they ask for a mobile app to be built, for instance. Somebody has to work with the end user to write the requirements for that mobile app or for that website or for that application. So it's very important that someone understands how to write user stories, how to write software requirements, and how to connect with the end user's needs and what they desire. Because they're going to have a wish list of things. That person gathers those requirements, and that is a business analyst. Then the business analyst gives that requirement document to the developer to code it and build. After the developer builds it, then there's a quality assurance tester that tests against those requirements to make sure that what the customer asks for is what the application does. So a technical writer then takes the full completed application and writes a user guide, like a how-to. So you have to have a lot of good communication skills, writing skills, and analysis skills for those roles.
So, and also, I just wanted to point out, and Betsy mentioned this in the chat a little while ago, that most tech companies also have sales positions that don't require any like coding skills. I mean, those are positions where you have to have the hustle, but you may not have to have the coding muscle.
That actually is a good point. It wasn't in my slide deck, but it's a super, as I've been working with clients that are transitioning from sales into sales tech, if you already have a sales or retail or customer service background, sales tech is an amazing opportunity because you can be an engagement manager, you can be a customer support person for a client that purchases Microsoft or purchases Salesforce tools or purchases Google products. Only thing you have to know is about the product and how it works and how to sell it, right?
Yeah, you don't have to know how to build it.
You don't have to know how to build it, but you should definitely know what the perks are to selling it and why someone will want to buy it.
Exactly. So you mentioned that one of the places to learn is YouTube, and Tiffany asked, for YouTube, do you have any suggestions of who to follow?
Me, sorry. There are a lot of people off the top of my head. Honestly, I don't want to give a lot of bad advice. I recommend searching, honestly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, because I'm in the industry, I don't really follow a lot of the tech enthusiasts. So I highly would recommend that you figure out what path you want to go down and you find a YouTuber that's specific and specialized in that area in tech. But I honestly, I don't have a specific YouTuber that comes to mind, because I'm so busy producing content. I don't follow a lot of influencers. Sorry.
So one thing about YouTube that I would mention is that especially with tech, things go out of date really quickly, and YouTube has stuff that's like 10, 15 years old. You know, people don't take down their content after they post it. So if you're going to be trying to gain knowledge or trying to learn some kind of software coding from YouTube, you want to make sure that you're getting the videos that are updated. So like you don't want to use old Python tutorials that are using Python 2 because it's not going to be useful. So
That's
make
a
sure it
very
lasts
good
for
point.
years.
That's a very good point. So I would say look at videos within the last 3 years, or even the last 24 months for that matter, because things change every 12 a new version, yearly. So I definitely do recommend that. But I would say follow them. I'm on Twitter a lot. So if you follow me on Twitter, that's where I am the most. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter. If you are, one thing I want to drop this gem really quick about finding influencers outside of YouTube is following the hashtags on social media. So the popular hashtags are women who code, Black tech Twitter, women in tech, blacks in tech, lesbians in tech. You're going to find the influencers. I'm black, I'm a female. You're going to find those influencers because they're going to hashtag their content on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. Everybody's using the hashtag on all social media platforms. So that's another way to find influencers to follow.
Yeah, there's so much out there, and Betsy also writes W3 Schools videos are good, and I co-sign that. W3 Schools has a lot of good stuff on their website.
I recommend that. Back in the day when I was learning a lot of programming, it's the most simplified version of all of the complex languages. It's just the most simplest way to learn any programming language in the technology industry. So I highly recommend that website.
I'll put a link to that in that follow-up email. So if somebody missed W3 Schools, I'll definitely link that.
I didn't put it on there, but I now that I think about it, it's a great resource.
Yeah, there's so much out there for learning tech skills. It's impossible to capture it all on one slide, even in a whole presentation. There's just so much out there.
Yeah, I mean, Pluralsight. You have Pluralsight. You have LinkedIn Learning. You have Udemy. You have Udacity. I didn't even mention that one. Udacity.
You've got Treehouse. You've got like Codecademy. There's so much.
I just find your learning platform that gels with your learning ability and go with that, because they all offer the same information, but they offer it in a different way. And I think everybody learns in a different way. So find one that works for you.
Yep. So speaking of learning, we've got a few questions about the college degrees and certifications. So one question is, if somebody already has a bachelor's degree or some sort of degree, whether it's tech related or not tech related, if they want to transition to either a different part of tech or into a tech field, do you recommend they go back to school and get another degree? And let me just put on top of that, because this is related, in that situation, is it better to get a tech degree from a university or to get a certification? What do you think about degree versus certification?
Okay, so let's start part one question. I think if you have a degree in tech or even in a different industry, I don't highly recommend, unless you have that type of money to spend, to go in debt again.
And time.
So I recommend, that's your choice. It's still going to be an added bonus and benefit to your personal brand and to your resume. But Google and Facebook and all these companies, they have lowered their educational standards. They'll be offering, like Jamil was explaining earlier, they wouldn't be offering all these programs if college degrees were still the requirement. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be giving all this free licensing and information out there if they felt like people still needed to get a degree. So part two of that question is, I highly recommend that you go and you can still go to a community college and get a tech certification if you desire, but I highly recommend that you go to directly and see what type of training that the vendor has. So I'm gonna take an example. You can go directly to AWS. They have a training website. They have all their training videos about the solution architect cert. You can, for free. You can go to their training website and watch all the videos about how to be a solution architect in AWS. You can go and learn things about CompTIA. If you want to get a Security Plus certification, you can go directly through them. Or we can go back to that slide where we have Udemy, LinkedIn. Udemy has they already have certification instructors for $13.99 who are already preparing you for the most popular certifications that was on the top certification slides. So my sister was a fashion merchandising major. Now she's transitioning into tech. She's using Udemy and Udacity to get her certifications online. She's not going back to college. She is using those platforms to get connected with the instructor that is already certified and has the years of experience to teach that. So I recommend using low-cost resources to get the tech certification.
And then when we're adding another category on there, how about tech boot camps? Do those look good on a resume? Are they worth it when it comes as opposed to certifications or degrees?
I think tech boot camps, if you actually want to be a developer, I think tech boot camps are an amazing resource. I have had a client that spent $25,000. I won't name the company that she went to because I don't want to bad
That's
rap.
a lot.
But she went to a tech boot camp, and it's a very popular name. I don't agree with that. You might as well have just went and got a college degree, you know. So I recommend finding free tech boot camps. I recommend possibly enrolling in Nando degree programs. Nando, am I saying it? Nano
I
degree,
know.
nano degree programs that Udacity offers. They have like when you go to udacity.com, they have the School of Cloud, the School of DevOps, the School of IT Support. It feels like you're in college, right? And they call it nano degrees, NANO degrees.
Very small.
Very small, right? Small, right? Specialization, right? I recommend going into a program like that where you're picking your track and you're going there and you're doing it self-paced and right, and you're getting that specialization and you're getting all of this coursework building up to the test, building up to the exam. You're doing projects, you're doing hands-on experience, you're getting access to the instructor. I recommend that than going and spending a lot of money in a traditional boot camp or a traditional college program. So I think it's important to do your research because people are getting ripped off by boot camps.
Absolutely. So I have a really in-depth and great question here. Grace writes, hi Kanika, thank you for sharing your experience with us today. I'm a project manager who wants to switch from the pharma industry to tech, and I have a few questions about working as a project manager in tech. What's your least favorite aspect of working as a project manager in tech? What's the biggest challenge you face when working as, I should ask these questions all, maybe let's do them one by one because I feel like if I ask them all, we're just gonna have to repeat them. So
Okay, then
let's talk about your
one.
least favorite aspect.
Okay, the first one
Like,
is what's my least.
yeah, least favorite aspect of working as a project manager in tech.
Mm,
I'm
sometimes
interested. That's a good question.
it's actually a great question. Sometimes I can't control a project schedule slippage or budget. There are times in the project where I'm managing where the project may slip due to resources, through to defects or bugs within the code, or I lose an employee, or someone gets sick, or we ran out of money. So I mean, there are times that are there are things that are totally out of my control. I like to do every project. Like I have projects that are due in November and January. I like to hit the target date, but sometimes there are things that are just out of our control. So I would say that's the least thing that I like about being in project management, is that you don't always have control over the different things that are potential impediments or blockers.
And then the next question is related, but I actually want to change it up. So Grace asked, what's the biggest challenge you face when working as a PM in tech? But actually, I wanted to switch that around just a little bit and ask what the biggest challenge it was when you got in or getting into the field as a project manager, or switching from a different role to a project manager role.
So when I first got into tech, I was a developer. I was a SaaS developer, and I was a .NET developer, a Microsoft .NET developer. So I spent a couple years doing that, 2 years doing that. And then I decided that, hey, I'm a natural born leader. I love to talk. I love to manage. So I knew the whole software development life cycle. So I was like, hey, I want to be a project manager. So I stepped up and I got promoted and I decided to go into project management. That's kind of how I transitioned, starting leading small projects, baby projects, and then medium projects, and then enterprise projects. So it didn't like start overnight where I just started managing big enterprise projects. So that's kind of how I transitioned. So what was the question again?
What was the biggest challenge during that transition?
The biggest challenge was learning how to communicate with different set of communities of people. So as a project manager, you have to communicate with the end users, you have to communicate with the technical team, I have to communicate with management, the contracting and budget team. So being able to learn how to communicate with those different audiences was probably the most challenging, because I was just so, I just wanted to connect with the developers, and I had to learn how to manage the different politics and the bureaucracy, and catering to different people's needs. So I would say that in the beginning that was challenging, because I was less than 30 years old. So I'm still, as a young woman, trying to learn myself. So I think that came with maturity and wisdom.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also on the theme of transition, so Grace had one more, and I might save that one for later, but I want to get into some other questions that other folks have had. And so we have a question that is related to transitions, and that is, when searching for a job, a lot of the job descriptions list a degree, a 4-year degree or degree in a specific tech field as a requirement. In that situation, do you recommend just applying if you have the skills and you can prove that you have the skills, just kind of going, well, I don't have the degree, but I can do the job?
I think that you should shoot your shot. You should still shoot your shot. And I say this because that if you have a lot of hands-on projects to show them that you've done in your spare time or even in your coursework, it's important when you see those types of job descriptions to kind of beef up your resume, to sound and to be articulated in a way that's even being in competition with somebody that has a degree. So I would recommend apply, but also have, like we talked about, having been able to show the experience of being able to set up a cloud infrastructure, being able to manage a project, but being able to show that in a blog post or in a slide, in some type of technical slide deck. I think coming to the interview just with a resume in this time is not going to work anymore. I think we have to be able to send the recruiter and the hiring manager team other visual things that we've accomplished just outside of just getting the tech certification. It's just not enough. It's just not enough, because everybody's getting the tech certification, but other people want to see those real life projects and volunteer experiences so you can compete with the person that has the degree.
So every person's holistic experience is different, and you adjust what you have on your resume and what you're doing and how you're applying based on your own unique skills.
Sometimes it will say preferred. Sometimes it will say required. Sometimes it will say nice to have. Some vacancy announcements are being very flexible now, where you'll see that your certification is more of a requirement than a degree now.
Yeah.
It's all how it reads, right? It's all how it reads. But I think also making sure that you put yourself in the basket to get chosen, but also communicating with the recruiters that call you and asking them, hey, I seen in the vacancy announcement that this is X, Y, and Z. Is this really, do I really need this? Sometimes the recruiters, they have the inside information, and they'll be able to tell you whether, hey, it's there, but we're still looking for people with more technical experience. And that person will be able to connect with the hiring manager to validate whether that's true or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, use the recruiter as a resource. So I've got
Yes.
some other questions here, and I really want to get to these. These are really good questions. Actually, this is a question that I don't know about this either. How do you get a security clearance?
Could you just repeat the question on your screen,
Sure.
please?
Oh, sorry. How do you get a security clearance?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to, I don't know how, I don't know the people out there. I don't know if people know how that, we got clearance jobs, we want to be able to get a clearance so we can go to clearance jobs and get some jobs.
So it's very popular in the DC job market because a lot of us work in the federal government in classified environments. With classified environments mean we work in sensitive information with sensitive data, sensitive systems. So if you work for the Department of Defense or you work at State Department, you need a security clearance because they do foreign policy, and the Department of Defense, you kind of already know what they do. They help defend and protect our country. So a lot of times, if you're looking for jobs, you will see that they'll ask, you must be able to obtain or possess. So obtain may mean that you may be able to go through the background check. So to get a security clearance, you have to go through a company that will sponsor it. They pay for it. They cost like $100,000, and companies will actually sponsor the investigation process. Maybe not $100,000. They may be $50,000, $60,000. They cost a lot. I know
That's a lot, yeah.
yeah, but tech companies will sponsor a qualified applicant to go through the investigation process. Normally, an investigation process for security clearance could last 6 months to a year, depending on what level of security clearance that you get. The lowest level security clearance is a public trust. That's just like a simple background check. They check for criminal history, they check your credit, and they check like different places of where you resided. If you want a secret clearance or a top secret clearance, those clearances, they do a deeper dive into your background. They want to know where you lived, what countries you visited. They want to see your passport stamps. They want to make sure you are not doing any illegal activity. They do a deeper dive into your background check to make sure you're not a convicted felon and you don't have bad credit. They do that all because you may be working in environments where you are managing very secure information, and it's a way to see if you can be trusted. Because everybody heard on the news about whistleblowers. These whistleblowers are people that work for the federal government that has security clearances, and they've released secret data to the public. So you go through that because you are working in high sensitive environments. But the company will hire OPM, which is Office Personnel Management. They will hire them to investigate for you on your behalf. So that's what a security clearance is. I would say it's popular in the government space, not necessarily in the private sector space.
Yeah, that's where all the secrets, the government secrets. I didn't realize it cost so much. Wow. So, question from Gabriel. Any advice for people switching industries mid-career into tech?
My advice is to make a list first of all your transferable skills. Don't think that you're starting off from scratch. You do analysis, maybe you do audits, maybe you manage teams, maybe you use database computerized systems, maybe you do reports, do spreadsheets. I think it's important to always let that light shine as you're transitioning. So you can still bring a part of your past into your future. Second thing is to focus in on networking for your future, not your past. You have to focus on building a new network. If you're transitioning into a new industry, you need to be connecting with other people in the industry, have career coaches, mentors, and other people that can help you understand how to be successful in the field. And number three is to definitely, of course, as we talked a lot on this presentation, is to get skilled up in the things that you don't know. And number four is to revamp your resume and your LinkedIn profile for your future. So you need to make sure that your resume sounds a little bit more techish. It can't sound like you're applying for a job in your old past. It needs to sound like you're applying for a job for the future that you desire to walk into. So those are just a couple of tips that I would recommend.
Thanks, Kanika. We're getting short on time. I have a few questions here, so I'm just going to choose a couple.
Okay.
And then maybe if I didn't ask your question here, then just you can get in touch with Kanika on LinkedIn, on social and other social media, and then she'll be happy to answer your questions. So
LinkedIn would be best.
LinkedIn. Perfect. So question, let's talk about work-life balance. There's the kind of the idea out there that tech jobs require you to be working at all hours, at all times. Can you please talk about work-life balance with the tech industry and is it possible to get a high-paying tech job and not be working 24/7?
Good question. the question is, yes, you could get a high paying tech job where you're not working 24/7 or late nights or evenings. I think it is a I'm going to be very clear that tech is a very stressful industry. There are a lot of different opportunities, but I think it's going back to vetting the company and seeing if they value work-life balance. Work-life balance is your responsibility, and you have to make sure that you're aligned your lifestyle with the company that values it. There are companies that are customer focused, like Fortune 500 companies that are customer focused, that they don't value, that package has to be delivered to that door, or that e-commerce website has to stay up at all times. Finding that with the right company. And then I think finding the right role that doesn't require a lot of nightly deployments and things like that. So there are opportunities for working a 40-hour week, but it's also about figuring out what role do you want to go in. Sometimes like network engineers, they got to work at night, they got to run updates, they got to run installs, upgrades, patches. Sometimes they have to do that at night, but that's not an everyday thing. So it just comes and goes with the industries. But I wouldn't say every night you will be working late, depending on your role. But it's also companies are very toxic, so they will do that to you.
So you got to watch out for yourself. You got to make sure your values align with where you are, and if it starts to,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that would probably be a good idea for the folks out there who asked that question, is to talk to people who are in the job that you're thinking about and ask them, when do you work?
And ask the people that work at the company, what do they do? What is their lifestyle like? So I always connect with people on LinkedIn, and when I'm looking for a job, and I'll say, hey, Bob, I see you work at such and such company. What is the work-life balance there? If he tells me that it sucks, then I'm not going there.
All right, two more questions. So one is for someone who has a BS in IT and previous experience and wants to go back into IT, what certification do you recommend if I want to learn project management?
I recommend the PMP and the Scrum Master certification.
All right, and then final question. Actually, interestingly, I had this question too. If we wouldn't have gotten a lot of questions, I would have definitely asked this question and then almost word for word, the question that I was going to ask was asked by a person in the chat, and I was like, that person's smart. They asked my question. So Heather asks, I came on this call because I know technology has a good career outlook. I have very little technological training, and I don't have a technical background except for the limited computer skills and social media skills. How do I know what tech area I might be best suited for? Is there a tech aptitude or career test I can take to see what area might be of interest to me and that I'm best suited for with my skills or abilities? Basically, what personality fits which kind of tech jobs?
I wish there was like a Myers-Briggs test.
That's, yeah.
I have to see if it exists. I'm not sure if it exists. There may be an actual test. First, I recommend her Googling that tech job personality test, because I don't want to tell you that they exist or if they do exist. I always tell people lean into their strengths. If you are a person that loves to talk and love to be on Front Street and love to be customer facing, those are the type of roles that you should take. If you're introverted, you should be a developer. You should be behind the scenes. If you're someone that loves to lead and guide and you love to be helping people be successful, then you should be a project manager or a program manager or a product manager. If you're someone that actually enjoys coding and you say you find it fascinating to a lot, I don't know what tech path to go down. I think it's important to try one or two and be okay if you don't like it. I was a developer the first couple of years and I hated it. And I transitioned. So I don't think if you go into your first role and you don't like it, that a transition is difficult. It's just now I got to spend, like Jamil said, 6 months to learning something new so I can move on and move on. You're going to forever be learning in this space. It's not a one for all. You may get your first tech job and be like, hey, I hate help desk, but I want to get into cloud. I want to get into cyber. So it's one of those things where you just got to jump in there and gravitate to the things that interest you first. and then lean into deciding. So, but yeah, I recommend reading, going on YouTube and listening to people that live in certain roles and listen to the day in the life. Go to the day in the life videos on
I
YouTube.
was just about to say that.
Yeah, so the day in the life of a cloud, the day in the life of a cybersecurity, the day in the life of a UX person, and then you listen and you be like, "Oh man, I love that. That sounds like I would love that." Then that's your answer.
There we go. And then another a very low risk way of seeing if you're interested is taking one of those classes. Like there's so many free classes. Just start a class, and if it's some if it looks like it's like, oh, I'm interested in everything that this person is, even some of the things, then continue with it. And if you start the class and you're like, I don't what,
Right.
then it might not be your thing if you're not drawn to it.
Yeah, I mean, data. Oh my gosh, people love data. Some people love cyber. Some people love the cloud. I think you have to read up on the technologies first and then just kind of feel the vibe.
All right. Well, Kanika, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, answering all these questions, giving us an overview of a tech jobs. And Jamel, thank you for talking about Delete the Divide with us. To all the folks out there, best of luck. Thank you for being with us, and see you next time.